Hey everyone, Brian here wishing a great Friday and a wonderful weekend ahead. I'm sitting on the sanctuary steps at Church of Our Savior and being reminded that last Sunday there was no priest present for any of the three services. Of course, it's my job as rector to ensure that there is a priest here, and I obviously failed in doing that last week. So for everyone who was there and missed a priest, my apologies to you all. On the other hand, the services went ahead and the community itself pulled together, largely because of the efforts of Claire Nolan Long, our preacher, and Deacon Jess Alfring Roberts. And then for the 9 and 10:45, of course, the wonderful music created by the 9 o'clock musicians. I want to note that we came together as a community to ensure that worship happened. Later, after Sunday, we had a much bigger trauma nationally than missing a priest simply here at Church of Our Savior last Sunday. And of course, I'm talking about the mass shooting that occurred at an elementary school in Texas. All of us reel as we absorb yet another tragedy here in the United States. And all of us wonder what we can do about it. My observation is that the same spirit that happened here last Sunday, a community coming together, is really what is the only way to respond to this horrific and every other horrific event of gun violence or violence of any kind that occurs in our American culture. We cannot respond to this as individuals. Just last night, or Wednesday night, I believe, there was a huge prayer service in the town where this shooting took place. People understand that gathering for prayer means something. I believe that in my time here at Church of Our Savior, the Sunday that was the ordinary Sunday of the year that was the absolutely most full was the Sunday following September the 11th, 2001. We know in our hearts and minds that we need to gather in community, and more importantly, we need to get out of our own individual head that is full of ideas and political viewpoints and attitudes, and we've got solutions that some people will agree with and other people won't agree with. But community is not founded on the kinds of people who might concur with us. And our enemies are not people who disagree with us. That's why the Christian community is so important, or the religious community of any sort that gathers. The point we make is community. And we have to come together with people that we like and agree with, sometimes with leadership we're deeply appreciative of, or at other times we have to come together with people we deeply disagree with, or don't like, or don't understand, and with leadership that we would spend much of our life disagreeing with or trying to put different emphasis on. That's what it's like to be in a religious community. We just keep coming together. And we sit with each other, we abide with each other, we deal with each other. And gently and in a discerning way, we move forward. It's my view that right now, as we respond to this most recent, but the end of a long series of violent gun-related problems that occur not only nationally, but on a regular basis here in the city of Chicago, that it may seem disconnected to come to a safe Episcopalian, largely white Northside parish. But I want to suggest to you that simply showing up here on Sunday, being part of the community life, joining in the liturgy that washes over us and stirs us at depths we can't cognitively always explain or rationally even understand. But that out of that gentle way we become community, and it's community that will eventually solve these issues. It's only when we can become a citywide community and recognize that gun violence, which may be more lively or more at an everyday occurrence in neighborhoods other than Lincoln Park, but it's only when we recognize that we're part of the Chicago community, that very deep sense of what it means to be community will percolate out from religious communities and start impacting other social, political, and even economic attitudes and opinions and decisions. We may feel that the situation facing African Americans or Jews, whose churches and synagogues are far more likely to be attacked by gun violence than our own rather safe white churches. But until we understand that we are community with them and that we share their community joys and hopes and aspirations and fears, until we are in solidarity with that sense of community, a communal response to this won't evolve. Far too often, I think we look at the perpetrators of gun violence and prefer to see them as individuals who are deeply disturbed or have personal problems or even a political agenda that represents only a very small minority of American culture. And that includes the number of young men who seem to take out their anger and frustration or fear or whatever psychotic attitudes are going on back at the school system that they just recently or sometimes are still a part of. I don't know what goes on in the minds of these young men, but it can't be dissimilar from what goes on in the minds of a white racist who goes into a Black Baptist church and kills people, or an anti-Semite who goes into a synagogue and wants to disrupt or murder or kidnap people. There's something similar that triggers this violent tendency. And the antidote to that is not to buy into this idea that the simple solution is that there's nothing we can do about individual people who are determined to act out violently. Regardless of political action, social action, simply being together as a community of people who test out their wholeness by including prayer and soulfulness and the search for joy and peace and harmony as a community. That is the antidote, bit by bit by bit, even if we don't see the logical connection between what we do here at Church of Our Savior and what religious people do when they gather in their sacred spaces all across America. We've got to be aware that what we do here actually impacts a better hope for an American future. So if for whatever reason you have not yet started to come back to Church of Our Savior since COVID, I encourage you to think about doing it, just to be community in whatever way we can. And we'll keep you alerted to all the church services and other community events that will help you join with others in our simple, prayerful, but truly impactful way to combat the isolated loneliness, hurt, and pain of individuals who will act out violently, with the communal commitment to put God and love of neighbor first. Thanks for listening. Hope I get to see you either on Sunday in person or you get to see us through the video. Take care and God bless.